Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. We're here again for another interview for our film fan community. Today, I'm joined by Florentina Faconti, and she has her own YouTube channel talking about movies also. And I've been watching her for a couple months now. I love her videos. I love her style. Her energy is just amazing. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for having me. I've been doing YouTube for about 6, 7 months now. I'm an actor, so I review things from an acting perspective more than other people doing it from a filmmaking perspective. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
And this special edition of our film fan community is international today because you are in
It
England.
is. I am. I'm in the east of England, so I'm even
Yeah, so
further.
there's a little bit of a time difference right now, but I'm glad that we were able to figure something out so that we can talk to each other.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So how it's going to go for today is I have 9 or 10 questions here for you that I'm going to go ahead and grill you on. And then we're going to end the interview with you asking 1 or 2 quick questions to me to get to know me real quick since I spent this whole time nagging you about questions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So this first question, granted, I kind of already know the answer because I watched your last video, but I'm going to go ahead and ask anyway. All right. So go ahead and tell us about your top 3 favorite movies.
Yeah, this was a big decision for years. So I thought I'm just going to make a video about it. So I finally have an answer for you. My first one is Hot Fuzz, which is a big British film. And I quote it all the time. It's so funny. It's literally the funniest thing that I've ever seen. My second one is Labyrinth. And it's such an important film to my family. It's my family's favorite film. And it's another one that I just quote all the time. And finally, I'm going to say Pride, which is a film set in the 80s based on a true story about a group of lesbians and gays that support a striking minor village in Wales during like the Thatcher years. And it's a really important piece of British history that doesn't really get talked about much. And it's such a beautiful film.
I'm curious for Hot Fuzz, what is your favorite quote?
I think the one that comes up all the time is whenever anybody says the greater good, you have to just under your breath go the greater good. Like I can't leave it like I can't leave it open. I have to say it every time. And I say hi quite a lot, like Tim Messenger. And I had to like that's where my hello comes from at the start of my videos.
Gotcha.
Because I was like, hi. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't just do a hot fuzz quote in every video.
So this is something I didn't do this on purpose, but I just genuinely am interested. I've asked every person that I've interviewed this same exact question. What is your favorite movie snacks?
Yeah, this was hard because it depends where I am. If I'm watching it at home, then I will eat like the loudest things. Like my favorite crisp, well, you call them chips, don't you? Sensations roast chicken. I absolutely love them. Devour like a whole big bag of them. For the past 2 nights, I've had that when I've been watching films, and
Okay.
just they are amazing. They are the best crisps ever. But if I'm in the cinema, I can't have anything loud. I really like, I'm so conscious about
No
making
popcorn?
noise. If I am gonna have popcorn, it's toffee popcorn. But I'm like, oh, I'm so loud. People are gonna hear me chewing, and it's gonna annoy them.
Question 3. This one is getting a little bit deeper than movie snacks. What is a film that is special to you? This can include something that you watched at a certain life event, or it could just be something that you really feel like you can only watch it with a certain someone.
This one is not a film that's like special to watch. It's just special to remember. It's Imitation Game with
Okay.
Benedict Cumberbatch. It's because it was filmed in the town that I used to live in. So we me and my mum, we went down to go and see the filming, and it was just amazing. And now when I watch the film, because I don't live there anymore, I see all these locations. I'm like, oh, that's that place that I used to go. And it's just so nice to have that memory. And also we met Benedict Cumberbatch. He drove past and he like rolled the window down. I know.
All right, next question. What inspired you to start your YouTube channel? So you told me earlier that you've been doing it for around 6 or 7 months. So take us through your thought process leading up to those 6 or 7 months before you officially started.
Yeah, so because I have like a few years of acting training, when I watch films, I'm like critiquing everything, every single little thing about people's performance. I'm like, oh, well, they could have done that instead, or they could have done this to make it better. And I kind of thought, well, I'm doing all that anyway. And during like lockdowns and everything here, all I was doing was watching films and TV. So I was like, why don't I just put this to good use and do something creative? I was putting it off for so long, but I'm so glad that I did, because I'm really enjoying it now.
So sticking on the YouTube question, what advice would you give to someone that wants to start a channel?
I'd say just do it. Like, because I put it off for so long thinking no one's going to be interested in what I have to say, but just don't care. Do your own thing, do what you want to do and enjoy it. And if people watch it, then that's a bonus. But if you're enjoying what you do, it doesn't really matter. And that was a big thing for me, that I was like, oh, I'm going to look really weird. I'm going to hate how I sound on film. Because, you know, when you listen to your voice back the first couple of times, you're like, oh, I'm so drony. Why would anyone listen to this? Like? Yeah, exactly. And now I'm like, okay, right, get on with it. Go on. Like, but also a big thing is make a schedule and stick to it. I've got a whiteboard there. I've got 2 diaries with all of my notes and my planning and everything. I've got it like down to a T.
That's, pretty much what I would say. Just do it. Even if 6 people watch it, like, that's still 6 people that listen to what you had to say, and if you're having fun, that's all that matters. So what British actor was already sort of popular where you live and then started doing American movies or Hollywood movies and became even more popular and kind of, skyrocketed their stock?
This is such a good question. It really like made me think, but someone that really came to mind was Benedict Cumberbatch, who I absolutely love. And I was watching him for quite a while before, and he was on TV, he was in a few films, he's been on
Sherlock,
stage
right?
quite. Yeah, I think that was his big break, really, because he did Sherlock and then he did a play at the National, and he just kind of became more of a household name here. And then America wanted him after Sherlock, and he was in stuff like The Hobbit, he did the voice of Smaug, and he was in Star Trek Into Darkness, being Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they get nabbed by Marvel, then they just blow up.
Next up, where would you like to see your channel be at the end of 2021?
This was hard because I'm not really like a big goals person. I'm kind of like, see what happens. And like my content is very like random at what gets views and what doesn't. So I put something up and I think, right, that's going to be really popular. Everyone's going to be talking about that. And it gets like 20 views. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I put up something really like took me about an hour to put together and didn't really put much work into it, just put it up for a filler. And then it blows up, like my Exorcist video. Like, what? I spent like a couple of hours on that, and I didn't expect it to get as big as it did. I mean, a lot of people hate it, but it would be nice if something like that could happen for a video that people like. I just want to keep enjoying it. So by like next January, I want to still be making the content that I want, because I feel like if I do something because I think it's going to get views, then it's not going to be authentic to me. And if it does get views, then I'm going to have to keep doing the stuff that I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
So I just want to still be enjoying it and being authentic at the end of 2021.
Is there a director that stands out to you, alive or dead, that you would love or would have loved to work with?
This was really interesting because I don't usually think about directors, which is stupid because directors are literally the backbone of the whole thing. I think I'd have to say I've got a few. Edgar Wright, because I absolutely love his films and he seems like a really cool guy. I feel like he would be really nice to work with. And he just makes things that no one else is making, and it's really interesting. But I'd also say Kenneth Branagh, and I feel like I would learn so much from him. And also, he usually stars in the things that he directs, so you'd be acting with him as well. So that would be really cool.
We're on our last question. I wish I could keep asking you all these questions, but I know that you have to get going soon. So, for the final question, what are some movies that you were late watching that you regret that you didn't get to see sooner?
Ex Machina, which came out in about 2014, and my brother recommended it to me a couple of years ago, like quite soon after it came out, and I was like, sci-fi, no thanks.
Mhm.
But it has some of the best acting that I've ever seen. I was gripped like the whole time. I was watching it while I was doing something else. I didn't get any of the other thing done that I was supposed to. It was so good, and I hate myself that I left it so long because it is outstanding. But I'd also say just most like horror films, because I was absolutely terrified of horror films until a couple of years ago, and now it's my favorite genre. I'm like binging them to catch up. I mean, I'm giving myself nightmares in the process, but it's it's literally become my favorite thing. They're so exciting to me. So that's why I'm doing like my horror movie reviews every month as well, because I'm like catching up with all of this and getting excited about some things and like wondering why other people were loving these ones that I hated, and like that genre is really interesting to me. So I wish that I'd like picked up on it as soon as like I was old enough to watch them.
Awesome. So, before I let you go, do you have any quick questions that you want to ask me real quick to get to know me?
Yeah, similar to what you were just discussing, but what was the first film that you remember seeing?
Okay, so I'm not going to count like kids' movies and animation, stuff like that. First real film that I remember watching and loving, it's I got two because I can't remember which one it would be. I've talked about them before. It's Forrest Gump or A Christmas Story. I have a feeling Forrest Gump, but it's one of those two. I'm not 100% sure, but it's one of those two. And
No,
I would actually watch them like twice in a day sometimes, like back to back.
I went through phases like that. I'd leave a DVD in the DVD player and just run it every
Run out on a
day
loop.
for months, and then eventually get bored of it. But yeah, no, I don't think I've seen either of them. I
Really?
definitely haven't seen Forrest Gump. I
Huh.
know I know everything about it, but I just never seen it.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. It's a really good movie. It's kind of long, but that's okay.
So are a lot of films, to be honest.
Yeah.
I got time. It's fine. My other question, if you could recast any role, what would it be and who would you change it to?
Okay, this one, this is really tough. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Johnny Depp
Okay.
playing Willy Wonka. The movie, I don't really like Tim Burton's style. I mean, I like Beetlejuice, Batman, but like, Willy Wonka, Alice in Wonderland, stuff like that. I'm really not a fan of those types of films that he's done. And Willy Wonka, that just didn't work for me. So I also, when I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking, okay, well, who would I recast with? And I made the decision to only pick someone that would be an actor in that time frame. So it came out in 2005. So I looked at people from 2005 and past. So one person, unfortunately, is not with us anymore, and the other person is. So the one that is not with us anymore that I picked is Robin Williams. I think that he could have had a lot of fun with that role. So the other person that I picked, he is still with us. He's very popular still, even today. And he is my number one pick the more I think about it. Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
You're welcome, Holly.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be amazing. I'm very similar to you. Like, I like Johnny Depp's approach to it, but the whole film just kind of feels weird. I do prefer the Gene Wilder one. So
Mhm.
I feel like when I think of Willy Wonka, it's always Gene Wilder. I always kind of erase Johnny Depp. But now you've said Jeff Goldblum, I can never watch that film the same again.
You're
Like,
gonna wish Jeff was in it.
yeah, like how he is in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
That would be brilliant. That would be
that'd be
so
awesome.
good.
All right, so thank you for joining me on this very special video. It was a blast to get to know you. Before you go, is there anything on your channel coming up that you want to go ahead and talk about really quick?
I've got a few monthly series that come out. I do horror movies on the second Wednesday of every month. I have my sci-fi films coming out in the middle. I have movie musicals on the last Friday of every month. And my favorite performances, which is basically the actor that I'm currently obsessed with that month, is at the end of the month around the movie musicals. And like I said, with the Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I'm doing like originals versus remakes just randomly whenever I need a video. So stay tuned for those.
All right. Well, thank you for being part of this. You can also catch Florentina on her Facebook page under the same name as her YouTube channel. I'm going to have the link for her channel down below in the comments. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe on this channel. I also have a Facebook page, Pierce Productions, on Facebook. You can go ahead and look that up also. The next time we see Florentina will be in Kenneth Branagh's upcoming Death on the Nile film.
I wish. Oh my God.
Take care, and I'll see you next time.